All right, welcome to this week's edition of the Business Owners Mastermind Call, hosted by the Lodi Chamber of Commerce and John Pyron Kochi, the business doctor. And I'm going to unmute everybody, and I'm going to unmute you as because we've got quite a bit of people in here. And if you can introduce yourself and share with us what it is that you do, what your name is, and what it is that you do as a business. And then I'll just go through the list. So the first person is the 209-369-6868. Can you introduce yourself, please?
Hi, I'm Karen Chandler, and I'm a real estate agent in Lodi, and I own an olive oil company called Olive Drop Olive Oil in Lodi.
Okay, so Karen Chandler.
Good morning. Yes.
Okay, since you're calling on a phone, I'm going to rename it on the screen so people know who you are. Welcome.
Thank you.
Chet. Go ahead.
Hi, this is Chet Samara, and I'm with C&H Financial Services. We're a electronic payment processing company. We're based out of Lodi, but we work all over the U.S. and Canada. And thank you, Karen Chandler, for attending. Good to hear from you again.
Fantastic. Yeah, Chet handles all my merchant services, and they do an unbelievable job. All right. Elisa.
Good morning, everybody. My name is Elisa Bubak, and I am the Director of Communications for the Lodi District Chamber of Commerce.
Fantastic. Chelsea.
Hello. Good morning.
Chelsea's my executive assistant, so she's on here as well.
Nice to meet
you. All right, let's see. The other Karen.
Good morning. This is Karen Coleman Farley again. I'm with Thrive. I work here locally. I'm actually based out of Stockton, but I cover all of San Joaquin, Stanislaus, and Calaveras and Tuolumne counties. And I provide business management services to small to medium-sized business owners. Also help with online and mobile marketing, as well as print yellow pages. So we're pretty much a one-stop shop. We are nationwide. But again, my focus is here in the local area where I live.
Fantastic. All right. And then Mr. Pat.
Good morning, everyone. I am the President and CEO of the Lodi Chamber of Commerce. And what we do here is we strive to be a catalyst for business growth, a convener of leaders and influencers to make positive change, and to be recognized as a champion for the community. And so everything we do should work towards those three missions.
Fantastic. So welcome everybody. So Pat, what are some announcements that the chamber has before we get started? Let's do some kind of homework real quick, or some housekeeping before we dive into our content. What are some of the things that you'd like to share with everybody from the Lodi Chamber this morning?
Well, thank you very much for that opportunity. I would say what you can put us down as a resource for all things COVID-19 and how they are impacting business and what business can do to reposition themselves, fight back, get aid, all different kinds of assistance coming down from the federal government, of course, and also the governor was talking very much a lot this morning about helping in new ways to relieve mortgage payments and things like that. So you can find it all by going to lodichamber.com and then /COVID-19. Elisa can correct me on anything if I've misspoken, but it's a repository of a ton of information, and it's updated daily. thanks to Elisa.
So let me see here. She put it in the chat window. Okay, so it's COVID-19.
Yeah, I think.
And let me go there real quick. All right. All right, can everybody see my screen?
Not yet.
Oh, hold on. All right, we're not going to do the screen sharing thing. I just updated my laptop to, or my MacBook to the newest version, and there's still some security settings, obviously, I got to fix on there. But if you go there, COVID-19, just kind of an update is there is, I'm going to go ahead and mute everybody real quick. Actually, let me mute all. And then I'm going to unmute you, Michael, so you can introduce yourself before we get started real quick.
Well, thank you, John. My name is Mike Leahy, County Supervisor, Yuba County, and leadership owner of a life leadership company.
Fantastic. Welcome to the call. All right. So one of the things that I want to kind of really quickly cover is the funding that's available to us as small business owners. So if you go to the LodiChamber.com/COVID-19, you'll see a bunch of links there, but I'll give you kind of the quick summary. Right now, if you are a small business owner or and you're under 500 employees, or you are a 1099 subcontractor, you can get $10,000 as a loan directly deposited into your bank in as short as 3 days. So all you do is you go to LodiChamber.com/COVID-19, and there's the links to the site where you can get access to that. The application process, I've already done it. Took me about 5 minutes to fill out the application. It's very easy. You're going to need your EIN number. If you have one, if you're a sole proprietor, you don't have an EIN, you just use your social security number, but you submit the information and you get up to $10,000. They're not even giving you a choice. They're just going to give you $10,000, and that's going to help you through the, it's called a crisis loan. And so the repayment terms on that are just, I mean, I can't imagine any business owner not taking advantage of it, just because the interest rate is like nothing. It's like 0.5%. And then the payments are deferred. The other thing is starting today is the PPP, the Payroll Protection Program. And that will get you up to 250% of your monthly payroll. You can fill out the application starting today. So you go online and click on the links that are on the Lodi Chamber site there. You go online, you fill out the application, you print it out, you call the bank, Chase, Bank of America, Wells Fargo, whatever your local community bank is, and you take the application in there. There's some underwriting that they have to do. So you're going to need the information, such as your, last year's tax returns. You're going to need proof of payroll, so your payroll reports. And as long as you have that information, the underwriting process is relatively easy. And but the banks are carrying the notes. They're going to get reimbursed by the feds, so it is going to be subjective to bank underwriting. But that's the information I got yesterday from an expert in that space. And if you use 75% of the money towards payroll between now and the end of June, then it will be turned into what's called a grant. So in other words, you're not going to have to repay the money. If you don't use, I think it was like 75%. If you don't use all that money towards payroll, then it becomes a loan. And so, but if you have any employees laid off, if you have any payroll still on the books. It's going to be based off of your payroll in certain quarters last year. And so if you already have some people laid off, if you bring those people back before the end of June, then that will count towards the minimum requirement to turn that into a grant. The other thing is you got a couple of different SBA loans that you can go out and take right now that are really easy to qualify for. The other thing that's going to help you out with is beginning in April, if you are under 50 employees, you're going to have to, and people are having to stay home because of COVID-19, or their kids can't go to school because their schools are shut down and they can't work from home. You're going to need to provide them up to 2 weeks of sick pay. Now, the only way around that is, number one, they can't work from home. So if they can work from home and they refuse to work from home, then, that's a different story. The only other way is you're going to have to, terminate them or let them go. But if you don't terminate them, you keep them on the payroll and they can't work from home, then you're going to have to pay them up to 2 weeks of sick pay. And so those are kind of the highlights. The rest of it is, if you go to lodichamber.com/COVID-19, there is a wealth of information up there. And Elisa continues to keep it up to date and relevant for us as small business owners. And so with that said, let's kind of hop into any questions that you have today, anything like that, put it in the chat window. And that way we can make sure and we get to it. But I want to kind of go into some content right now. One of the things that we talked about is lead generation. We're going to get into that, but there are a couple of things I want to hit on that are relevant to all of us as small business owners right now. And there's basically three things. Three very, very, very important things that we need to be doing as employees. If you're an employee listening to this call or listening to the recording, or you are a business owner. But basically three things, if you really want to get through this and come out on the other side better than you were going into it, it really comes down to these three things. So one of the things I want to point out is, though, contraction. So we're in a contraction right now, contraction environment. So contraction disciplines the undisciplined. And that's a very important thing to understand, is if you don't become disciplined right now, you're going to get your butt kicked. I'm just going to be completely honest with you. Going to bring the good news, but also the cold hard facts, and that is, number one, if you don't get yourself disciplined right now, you're gonna get punished. I'm telling you. So discipline right now is a lot more is more important than ever before. So what am I talking about? So if you're an employee and you're at home and you can't go to work, or you're a business owner and you're at home and you let me actually pull up. Let me get my screen set up here where I can put participants over there. Let me put the chat window over here, and that way I can see all of it at one time. All right. And so what I mean by discipline is this, is there are people right now all across the country that are doing one of four things, and we talked about this last week. They're either taking no action, they're watching a ton of TV, they're sleeping in, they're staying in their pajamas all day long, and they're just kind of giving in to the fact that this is the way it is. Then there are those that are just in absolute panic mode, and they're canceling everything, and they're way focused on how much expenses that they can cut, that they can't even get creative on how they can make money right now. And then you got those people that are just kind of moving along. They're doing the same thing that they were doing before this thing even started, and they think that's going to help them out right now. And then you got those that are exercising a tremendous amount of discipline and taking a massive amount of action. And so put in the chat window any questions that you have, and I want to make sure that we get those answered today. And so what do I mean about discipline is you need to stick to a schedule, right? It's never been more important now than ever before to have discipline in your life. And so if you're an employee, whether you're if you're a business owner, get on a schedule. Like for me, it's 5 a.m. I'm getting up at 5 a.m. right now. I'm doing some activity in the morning. I'm doing some reading, some planning, some training, all this type of stuff I'm doing in the morning. I have not stopped that. Okay. In fact, I'm running even more of an action schedule now than I was before. And so get yourself on a schedule. Don't allow yourself to go, okay, well, I don't have to go to work. And this is to the employees that are listening to this. I don't have to go to work. So, I can sleep in, and this is every day's a Saturday or a Sunday now. I'm going to tell you that right there will make you lazy, number one. Number two, you're not going to be in a position to take advantage of the opportunities that are going to be available when we come out of this. And we will come out of this. I promise you this. It is going to come to an end. We will come out of it. But the question is what kind of person do you want to be on the other side? So it's very important to have a schedule. What time are you going to get up in the morning? What are you going to do in the morning as far as a morning routine? Spend some time with your kids. They're at home right now. Spend some time with them in the morning. And then say, hey, you know what? I'm going to get to work. Set yourself up a home office. Yeah, come into that room at that time that you committed to do that. And if you're a business owner, I'll give you some things that I'm doing that's working very, very well. If you're an employee, I'll give you some things that you can do to become an even more of an asset at the end of this cycle that we're going through. Okay, so schedule, activity, discipline around social media, discipline about making sure that you continue to show up to the office, even though your office may be at home. So, if you're an employee, right, ask yourself, and you're not working right now, you've been laid off, ask yourself this question: is there anything that you can do right now to make money? Is there anything that you can do right now to make money? Couple of things that you can do. I'm 50 years old. If I go back for easy math and say, okay, I started work at age 20. That's 30 years of experience. So there's somebody out there that could benefit from my knowledge and experience right now. And all I got to do is take the time that I have right now and create a massive amount of content and put that out on social networks. People are digesting social networks now more than anything. So create a massive amount of content. You might as well become a consultant or try to find somebody to help with your expertise. That's one of the ways to make money. Another way to make money is find out, okay, what are the things that people are buying right now? Get a hold of the companies that sell those things and put yourself in a position to promote their product or service and get yourself in a commission capacity. Another opportunity is to go to lynda.com. I think LinkedIn bought it, lynda.com, and learn a new skill. Now's a great time. If you're an employee, how can you stay productive? When you're at home, show up to the office, like I said. What are the ways that you can make money? What are the new skill sets that you need to develop? Because I tell you this, it's a new game. Okay. So what are the new skill sets that you can develop right now? I did a Facebook Live 2 days ago, and apparently it was good enough. I mean, now it's got almost 2,000 views, and it's been shared over 100 times. But the one thing I talked about on there, and I had my 13-year-old son in there, and for those of you that have kids, that are parents. And so he got into the video, and I said, hey, you know what? He's at home now, can't go to school. There's only so much video game you can play. You can't go out and play with your friends because they can't come over. So I basically sat down with him and I said, hey man, how would you like to what are some of the skills that you want to develop? He said, I want to do video editing. I want to do programming and scripting. Those are the three things. So I went online. I said, okay, what are some online trainings that I can buy or purchase for my kid? And now he's on a success schedule every day for 2 hours a day. He's going through these training modules, and he's learning a new skill. And then I'm going to show him how to set up a business on that. And then literally within the next month or two, he's going to be making money as a 13-year-old with some skill sets that he's learning. Now think about what I just said. If a 13-year-old can do it, and you're an adult, guess what you can do? You can do it. I know because I had two clients that came to me, two people that came to me over the last 7 days. One of them is a sales rep, and the company that she works for, she's selling home improvement stuff, interior decorating stuff, right? Well, the company she's working for has put her on, they haven't fired her yet or laid her off or furloughed, but she can't go to work. She has to stay home. And she's going crazy. She's like, oh, I got to do something. And so she's like, okay, what is the skill set that I have that the market could buy, right? Well, she's very, very good at sales. And so she called me up because I've trained now, I don't know, 380 coaches and consultants now in 12 countries, and I know how to build that type of business and make it successful. And so I did a strategy session with her. And then she hired me as her coach. And so we started setting up her coaching business, and I showed her how to create content, showed her the whole model. Within 3 days, she's now, it's cool. She's making about $150 a day leading this group training program. And people are paying her like 10 or 15 bucks a person to be on this call. But you think about it, she's sharing and teaching her content. People from around the country are buying it because they got nothing else better to do than to sit at home and do that. And so she's an example of an employee that sat back and said, hey, is there anything I can do to make money right now? What can I do? What is the skill set that I have? You know, what can I do? And so that's an example of somebody that did that. The other thing is a business owner. I was on a training call. In fact, if you go to my website, johnpyron.com/events, there is a daily sales rally, Cardone sales rally that they do from 7 a.m. to 8 a.m. Pacific time. And so I was on this call, and there's people from all over the world on this thing. There's an average of 200, 300 people on this live call, and everybody's sharing their LinkedIn profile. So if you're on the call today, share your LinkedIn profile in the chat window. And one of the things I did as people started sharing their LinkedIn URL in the chat window is I started clicking on everybody's LinkedIn and connecting with these people. So I probably have added well over 100 new connections just in the last week with that strategy alone. And as I added this one person out of Ohio, she sends me a direct message and says, hey, I'm a dentist in Ohio, and my business has come to a complete stop. I noticed that you're a business doctor, and I noticed that you do coaching and consulting. I would like to learn how to become a coach and a consultant. I've got these ideas on what I can do. Can I set up a call with you? I said, sure. So I set up a call with her. I said, it turned out that I can probably help her. So we set up a strategy session, which we're doing this afternoon. She's probably going to hire me as her coach, and I'm going to teach her how to build that business from scratch. So it's another example of she's a business owner. She's a dentist. Her business has come to a complete stop. She can't do anything right now, but she said, okay, what can I do? Well, she's going to build a coaching and consulting business to teach people how to sell. She wants, and notice the combination there. Sales skills are really the most important skills that you have right now. And if you want a great resource, I would go to just look up Cardone University, Cardone University. and you can get Cardone University for free. It's one of the top sales training platforms on the planet. And so what that's going to allow you to do is to get those skills sharpened that you should really be exercising on right now. Okay, so those are some ideas for employees, for business owners. Is there anything else that you can do to make money? Next question is, how can I stay productive? Well, you can exercise, personal development, sharpen your skill. This is the time to sharpen your skill, especially if you're an employee, because you're going to come out of this a better skilled person and more valuable to the marketplace than you were when you went into it. Give you an example. There's a Facebook group that I belong to called Bourbon Sippers, and because I'm a bourbon drinker, okay, like to sip bourbon, and so I was on there. My buddy Jeff sent me a link. He says, "Dude, check this guy out. This guy's doing exactly what you were talking about. He's thinking outside the box. This is a bartender." And he goes, "Okay, what can I do now that I can't go to work? What can I do to increase my value to the marketplace and help other people?" So he created this daily thing called Quarantine Cocktail. And every single day he goes Facebook Live, and he has a different cocktail every day, and he teaches step by step how to make this cocktail. And so if you follow the money on that, and then he's asking for tips, but he's saying, hey, 100% of the tips are going to go to the American Bartenders Association to help out the bartenders that are struggling. I'm not struggling right now, but I want to help people out. Well, if you follow the money and you think about the logic, what he's doing as an employee, he's going to have all this content about his skills as a bartender. So when the bars do open back up, and they will open back up, can you imagine the job opportunities he's going to have? Oh my God. I mean, he's going to have on display actual live content of him being a great bartender. Okay. So let me kind of take a pause. Anybody have any questions? Put them in the chat window, and I want to bring you live on the call, or any challenges, problems that you're having, any ideas that you want to run by me, any coaching that you would like today. Put your request here in the chat window, and I want to bring you on live. And so Michael said the mad dash into scarcity mode. And you're right, man. People are going into scarcity mode like never before. And that is really the wrong thing to do right now. Is you want to go into, okay, where are the opportunities right now? Where are the opportunities? Okay. Where Chet says, where are your recordings? So if you go to johnpyron.com and you look on complimentary videos, or you go to my YouTube channel, there are a ton of recordings up there. Go and connect with me on Facebook. There's a ton of recordings there on my Facebook page and on my personal page. So that's where a lot of these recordings are going. And then if you go to, I will send out an email to everybody with the, actually, Chelsea, you're on this call. So put in the chat window where the podcast channel is, okay? And then Elisa, if you could put in the chat window where all the Lodi Chamber members can get access to these recordings as well, that'll give us a place to go. And so, Chelsea, if you can put the links in there to where all the content is, not only just to hear, but all the recordings that I do, and all where all the content is being published. In fact, you know what I'm going to do, Chelsea? I'm going to make you a co-host so you can kind of administer things here as well. All right. So we talked about sharpening skills. Okay, so number one, if you really want to survive and thrive during COVID-19, during this thing, and really come out even better position to take advantage of the marketplace, number one is discipline. Okay, disciplining yourself. Number two is you need to understand this is a new game. Okay, it's a new game. And thanks, Chelsea, for putting that in there. Is that the channel? see here. Yeah. Oh, that's where we're doing the new videos. Okay. Go into Chelsea. Go into my email signature. Actually, let me do that real quick because there is another YouTube channel as well, and I want to put that. Let me put that in here real quick because there is a ton of content in that one. Boom. All right, there's another channel as well. Put in the podcast, okay? Michael said, actually, the base is how do we keep our thinking on the right track? Thinking leads to habits. With you are addressing today. Thinking leads to habits. Habits leads to results. While it's not rocket science, it is the core of what dictates our success. You're absolutely right. Attitude is everything, okay? And discipline is going to lead to great habits. Can you imagine if you adjust your schedule right now and you really focus on disciplining yourself and you're consistent at it and you go after it even more with a lot more activity now and you come out of this with a massive amount of momentum? Can you imagine the opportunity that's going to avail itself when the market opens back up for you? It's going to be unbelievable. You want to go 2, 3, 4 times what you were making before? Discipline yourself right now. That's number one. Number two is realizing we're in a new game, okay? Whether you like it or not, whether you want to admit it or not, we are in a new game right now. And with that new game comes new rules, okay? Comes new rules for the new game. So what are your new rules? What are your new rules of engagement? Have you thought about, okay, how am I going to market right now? How am I marketing right now? How am I contacting people right now? Am I still waiting for the phone to ring, right? If you're waiting for the phone to ring, I promise you that is not a good strategy. If your phone's not ringing, your customer's phone should be ringing from you. If your phone's not ringing, your prospects' phones should be ringing because you're calling them. And so the new rules are this. It's going to be harder to get the same result you were getting. In fact, I will tell you this, it's going to take 2 and maybe even 3 times the effort you were doing before to make even less money in some cases. And so I know for me, it's like my own business. What are you reading, and what are you reading? What are reading recommendations? Patrick said, okay, what are you reading, and what are reading recommendations that line up with your 3 points you just made? So if you go to, let me pull up the link. All right, so I'm going to put the link in here. So there is, pull it up here. So years ago, I started following, back in 2013, started following Grant Cardone. And since then, I've had the luxury of literally interacting with his people a lot. And I helped them create their affiliate program. But they have a daily podcast called Cardone Zone. And trying to navigate this here. So if you go to, let's see, events, coaching, blog, podcast, there we go. All right. So if you go Cardone Zone, you put it in the chat window. It's a daily podcast. One of the podcasts that he has is called Young Hustlers, which that podcast is all about sales. It's all about sales. And so Jared Glant led a call this week on, okay, what to do in a contraction. And so when I was watching that, and then I added some of the stuff that I'm doing, I'm like, that's exactly what you got to do right now. in 2008 when the economy collapsed, that's exactly what I had to do. In 2013 when my business collapsed, that's exactly what I had to do. I had to discipline myself. So right now it's like getting up at 5 a.m., making sure that I'm taking care of myself first in the morning. I'm reading, I'm meditating, I'm writing out my goals. I'm writing out my daily targets. What is it that I'm going to focus on getting done today? I'm going and doing some personal training. So I'm on the Cardone Sales Rally in the morning. That has been an incredible use of my time. Not only am I getting the training that I need and the motivation that I need, but I'm making connections with a ton of people all over the world. And then spending some time with my son in the morning, doing some breakfast. And then at 9 o'clock, I'm hitting it hard, rocking and rolling, except for Thursday and Friday where I'm hosting a call like this where I have to get going about 8 o'clock. But that's the discipline. And then I'm working till 6 or 7 at night and shutting it down, absolutely shutting it down, staying off the TV, not getting my news updates or any of that. So I don't need to know anything else about COVID-19. You need to protect this and keep this positive. Okay, we're going to get into that here in a minute, but understanding that it is a new game. And so If You're Not First, You're Last is probably one of the best books you can read right now. If You're Not First, You're Last by Grant Cardone. When 2008 hit, I'll give you an example. When 2008 hit, he was running a $2.5 million sales training company. He's grown that with only 10 employees. So now he has 146 employees, actually 129 employees doing almost $200 million a year. And so if you want to really deep dive into that, this afternoon, it's 5 p.m. Eastern time, so 2 p.m. Pacific time, he's doing a complete webinar and going into, exactly what he did to make that happen. And so if you want the link to that, go to johnpyron.com/events, and the registration link is in there. And so highly recommend you do that. But all right, to get back to what we're talking about is it's going to take 2 or 3 times more effort. It's just how it is, okay? So when you come out of this, if you do this and you go after it 2 or 3 times more than what you've been going through, you're going to develop a muscle and a skill that's going to carry momentum. So when we do come out of this, think about this. When you do come out of this, the momentum that you're going to create is going to reward you, okay? And so that's what Grant's going to talk about tonight on that. So next is, how are you preparing? Okay, are you drilling? Are you drilling your pitch? Right. We're going to all have to make outbound calls if we're business owners right now. What I've told 3 of my clients, I have a client of mine in Georgetown. I have another client of mine in Chico. I have another client in Tennessee and Houston. And I'm telling them all, they all have employees. I'm like, all your employees are salespeople now, right? Instead of laying them off, why not teach them and give them the sales training and the skill set that they need? Cardone University is free. Why not give them the skills that they need, role play with them, get them on the phone and pitch? You're going to have way more outbound effort right now. Okay, so Michael said, Frank Betker, How I Raised Myself from Failure to Success. Great book. Stephen Covey, First Things First. Great book. Les Gibson, How to Have Confidence and Power in Dealing with People. I love that book. I read that book when I was 20 years old. Chapter 4 talks about autosuggestion, right? And saying something to yourself over and over and over again. Really, really good book. Quick question for you, John. How do you navigate referring someone to companies during this pandemic? Some businesses cannot afford to take on more expenses, and the subject may be touchy. Any tips? Great question. So what you want to do now is collaborate, okay? So what you're looking for, and it's never been easier to do this, you want to set up your network of collaboration. So if you think about your customer, they didn't stop buying. They're just probably not buying from you. But I guarantee you they're buying from somebody, right? And so keeping in touch with your customers, asking them, okay, what what is your biggest problem or challenge that you're having right now? And they're going to tell you. And then ask them, okay, who is helping you solve that problem? And they're going to tell you, okay? And I would highly recommend you reach out to those people, or just think about, okay, what else is my client needing right now? And reach out to those people that sell those products or services and tee up a relationship with that person. And so now you can have a collaborative relationship with that person or that company because you're both going after the same client. So there's a photographer right now. Customers are actually relationships. Michael said that, yeah, that you absolutely, the difference between a contact and a contract is the R, which stands for relationships. And so when I look at, okay, what are the challenges or problems that my customers have? Well, one of my customers is a photographer. Well, her business is completely shut down, you know? And the thing is she's a business owner. She needs to sell. It's the bottom line. And if you're worried about what somebody, it's like what did Lisa say here? Some businesses cannot afford to take on more expenses, and the subject may be touchy. Yeah, the subject's going to be touchy. But the thing is that's the time to get your skill set sharpened when it comes to objection handling, closing. Okay. The reason people don't succeed in sales is because they look at themselves as a typical, like the stigma for sales is this. Most people don't think of themselves as a salesperson. Most people have a resistance to sales. And if that's you, whether you're on the live call or listening to the recording, understand that that's most people. And here's some good news. It's not your fault. Think about it this way. Most of society has a stigma against salespeople. If you think, put in the chat window here, what do you think of when you think of a salesperson? Put in the chat window, what do you think of when you think of a salesperson? I've heard things like pushy, manipulative, liar, scum. I heard one lady say that, right? Like when I was 20 years old, I hated sales. Did not want to do it, was scared to death of it because I was an engineer. And my first business failed miserably because I hated sales. But in 1996, I decided, hey, you know what? If I don't master this art, I will never own a business. And furthermore, if I don't master this art, when a disaster like what's going on right now happens, I'm screwed because I don't have any sales skills. And right now, sales skills is the number one skill you need to have as a business owner, as an employee. You need to sharpen those skills. You need to know, okay, how do I make that phone call? What do I say? You know, how do I get a referral? You know, how do I approach it? So understand, if you have a resistance to sales, it's not your fault. Now, here's the good news, because I don't want to leave you there. Napoleon Hill wrote a book called Think and Grow Rich. It's probably one of the best books ever written on mindset. And in chapter 4, he talks about a technique called autosuggestion, just like in Les Gibbons' book, okay? And it's saying the same thing over and over and over to yourself and rewiring your subconscious mind. Our subconscious mind is designed to protect us, okay? It's going to protect us because, you know, that's what it does. You know, your subconscious mind runs your heart, your brain, your blood, every single thing about your body. The moment your body gets infected, man, your subconscious mind immediately sends all these white blood cells there without your interference at all. So your subconscious mind has a tremendous amount of power over you. And if you have a resistance to sales, it's because along the way, you've seen some negativity associated with sales and you're like, I don't want to do that, right? To prove this, when you were 2 years old, did you take no for an answer? Did you care about being pushy? No, you didn't care what anybody thought. You were pushing and pushing and pushing and pushing. And it didn't matter if it hurt somebody's feelings or not. You were pushing, okay? And if you ever had kids, you know what I'm talking about. But somewhere along the way, we developed this fear, this scarcity attitude, this resistance to sales. And so what you need to do is give is a new definition of sales. And it goes like this. Somebody write this down in the chat window. Chelsea, write this down in the chat window. Okay? Selling equals service. Sell from honesty, integrity, and compassion. Selling is about leading. Selling is about moving people to action. Okay? So let me say it again. Selling equals service. Sell from honesty, integrity, and compassion. Selling is about leading. Selling is about moving people to action. So selling equals service, sell from honesty, integrity, and compassion. Selling's about leading. Selling's about moving people to action. Okay, so it's really easy for me to sit here and say, hey, you need to go and do some sales training. Okay, you need to get your sales skills up. But if you have a fear and a resistance to sales, no matter how much training you're doing, you're not going to pick up the phone. It's like I have a client of mine who we're going to stop working together, tomorrow, okay? Because I can't help her right now. And she's been in business for well over 20 years, okay? And she calls me up the other day, and she has a whole team of people, right? And she's in a type of business where you have to master the art of sales, okay? She's in insurance. And the thing is like, she calls me and says, you know what? I know I need to make calls right now, but I don't know what it is. I can't pick up the phone. I know I need to reach out to my customers, but I'm finding every excuse that imaginable to not pick up the phone. And I'm like, if we can't solve that problem, then you're not going to succeed. We're not in an economy where they're just coming to you now. You're going to have to go to them. And so I recognized right away, you have a resistance to sales. And so here's what I told her to do. I said, you need a new definition of sales. Selling equals service, sell from honesty, integrity, and compassion. Selling's about leading. Selling's about moving people to action. If you were known by that, would you have a resistance to sales? That sounds really cool. Selling's about leading. So Chelsea, selling equals service, sell from honesty, integrity, and compassion. Selling's about leading. Selling's about moving people to action. Okay, into action, whatever, right? So here's what I told her. I said, I want you to write this down on a bunch of 3x5 cards, okay? And I want you to put those 3x5 cards everywhere you spend time. Put it on the fridge, put it on the bathroom mirror, put it in the sun visor of your car because you're still going to probably go to the store and back. Put it in your purse, everywhere you spend time. Put it all up around your house, okay? And here's what I want you to do. Every single time you walk by that and you see it, right? I want you to repeat it out louder to yourself, okay? And can you do that? Yeah, I can do that. Will you do that? Yeah. Are you going to do that? She said yes. Because here's what's going to happen. It's going to rewire her subconscious mind. She'll read it out louder to herself about 10 to 15 times a day. And literally what's going to happen is she's going to start rewiring her subconscious mind to embrace sales versus have a resistance to sales. And I know there's a lot of you that are going to listen to this recording. And because I'm going to promote this out to my network, Lodi Chamber is going to share it out to all the members. Okay. And I know there's a lot of you that have a resistance to sales. You've gone into the market for many, many years. We've had a great 12-year run. Okay. That we didn't have to, we didn't have to do anything. Okay. But we had, actually we had about a 10-year run. Okay. 2010 to 2020, we had a great 10-year run where business was just coming to us. We didn't have to sharpen our skills. We didn't have to press into the marketplace. And so what's going to happen is if you repeat this over and over to yourself, you're going to start embracing sales. So actually the sales training, the skills that you get at Cardone University you're going to actually be able to use and not be fearful of it. Okay. Because if that phone weighs 1,000 pounds right now and you're scared to pick it up, you're gonna get punished right now. People are not gonna call you. If they're not calling you, you're gonna have to call them. Okay? And so I'll share with you a real world story of a client. 2014, my client Deborah Scarpa came to me. Okay, go to my LinkedIn page. You'll see the quote that she put on there. Okay, you'll see the recommendation she gave me. And she had been in business for 22 years as a graphic designer, over 3,000 satisfied clients. And she hit a wall because she was sitting back waiting for organic referrals to come to her, and meaning, she did a great job and the client gave her an organic referral, right? They just said, hey, you should contact Deborah, right? Well, that had dried up. And now organic referrals weren't coming to her. And she was scared to death to do this, to reach out to people, to pick up the phone. And so I said, you had a resistance to sales. So no way. I go, yeah. You're using words like, I don't want to be pushy. I don't want to offend people. I don't want to sound salesy, right? I don't want to jeopardize the relationship, right? And I go, those are all signs that you have a resistance to sales. So I gave her that exact quote. Okay, selling equals service, self from honesty, integrity, and compassion. Selling about leading. Selling about moving people to action. And I gave her exactly the same instruction I'm giving you today, and that is to write it down on a 3x5 card, put it everywhere. Every time you walk by, read it out loud or to yourself. Can you do that? She goes, yep. I go, will you do that? Yep. So we started working together in April of 2014. Within 2 weeks, I identified she had this problem or this challenge. I gave her this assignment, and next thing you know, her attitude towards sales started changing. So, because I've trained now, 5,000 plus salespeople in 12 different countries. So that's what I used to do. When I decided to sell my IT company in 2012, finalized the sell in 2013, I went into full-time sales training. I trained thousands of salespeople on the art of selling. And this is the one thing that I had to master, is how to teach a salesperson how to get beyond this resistance so the skills that I'm training them on can actually work, right? And so what ended up happening is she started embracing sales. And so the skills I started teaching her, how to generate leads, how to set appointments, how to run those appointments, how to present, how to close, how to handle objections, how to get referrals, how to qualify, all the stuff that is important in the sales process. And what was great is her income started going up. She started making sales. Next thing you know, she went to $6,000 a month. Then she went to so that was April. So at the end of May, she hit 6, and then at the end of June, she hit 8,000. And then she's coming to the end of July, and I go, you're going to do 10,000 this month. And she goes, no way. And I go, yeah, way. You're going to do that. And so the very last day of July 2014, she sends me a text message early in the morning at 8:30 and goes, we're only at 8,500. We're not going to hit it. I go, it's 8:30 in the morning. Get to work. And so I says, go through, and here's something for you. I said, go through every single client that you have. Every single client that you've ever had, that you currently have, and I want you to call every single one of them and say, hey, how can I help you? What's the big problem or challenge that you have? How can I help you right now? What is a problem or challenge that you have that I can solve or find somebody to solve for you? And she just went after it that day. Did she have a resistance to sales at that point? No way, man. She texted me at like 5:15. And she goes, we did it. We did $10,500. I'm like, yay. And so it's a lesson there, right? When you get out of your own way and you focus on, okay, how can I help my client, right? How can I help my client? And you get over yourself and you start embracing sales, and she rewired her brain with that exercise, and I caught up. So I told her to go and join a mastermind group for her type of business. And so at the end of August, she joined this mastermind group. I caught up with her a couple years later. She was well over $70,000 a month and had a whole team going, Now think about this. She had a resistance to sales. And if you go to my LinkedIn, you'll see she said, in the short period of time working with John Pyre and Mike, we increased our income 4 times. We did a 4x increase in our revenue, which was true. But you think about it, she has those skill sets for the rest of her life. She will never not be able to create money. And here's my closing message to you. You're at home, right? It's a new game. Takes new rules. How are you preparing, right? Master this art of sales. And I promise you this, you will not only survive this, you're going to thrive and you're going to be able to achieve your wildest dreams, okay? Your wildest dreams you're going to be able to achieve because you're going to get over your resistance to sales and you're going to be able to create revenue in any economy, right? So if you're a business owner, okay, and you can't sell anything in your business right now, welcome to the club for a lot of businesses, right? Sell to the future, right? Like if you're in construction, right? And I have a client of mine in Chico. They're an engineering firm, right? So what we're doing, they design homes. And so what we're saying is, okay, people are at home right now, right? Now's a great time to design a home. You know, now's a great time to do that because when we come out of this, they'll have their design and plans completed. So sell to the future. If you still can't sell anything, think about, okay, I need to sharpen my sales skills. I need something to sell. Go find somebody else's stuff to sell. That's what I did. I called up my client in Nashville. I said, hey, you're selling IT stuff. Guess what I know how to do? I know how to sell IT stuff. You've been a client of mine for 4 years. Okay? I'm going to sell your stuff. How much are you going to pay me? We worked out an agreement. I went and closed a contract yesterday, a 2-year contract. See, 2,000 a month times what is that? 2,000 a month, so that's 24,000 a year times 2. I just closed a $48,000 deal for the dude. I'm going to get a reoccurring revenue from that. I'm going to go out and sell some more of that. Right now, if you have sales skills, and I'm pushing hard on this, I know I'm pushing hard because I want you to develop this skill, and now's the perfect time to get it. You can go and practice with other people's products. They'll pay you, right? So, and if you need any help in this, if you need any help in navigating this, whether you're on the live call or listening to the recording, go to my website, johnpyron.com. Chelsea, put it in the chat window, please. JOHNPYRON.com, and click on the book appointment button and schedule a 10 to 15 minute call with me, okay? I may or may not be able to help you, but if I can't, trust me, I know somebody who can, okay? Be resourceful, okay? Again, you need to keep your attitude sharp right now. Now's never been, you need to keep your attitude sharp. Shut the faucet off to the negativity, okay? Get rid of it. Keep it away. Go and listen to Jared Glantz, Young Hustlers, the one this week specifically. That's where I got these notes from. I was all prepared to come here and talk about lead generation today. And then I had a call with Pat Patrick yesterday, and we're going, you know what, dude? We need to, he didn't call me dude. He doesn't talk like that. He goes, you know what we need? We need to be able to offer to the chamber great resources right now. They need solutions to these problems and challenges right now. And so one of the things that I'm going to put out there is we're going to continue to do this call 8:30 a.m. on Fridays. You can show up here, but I understand a week going by is a lot of time. Okay, so follow me on Facebook. Go and friend me on Facebook. Okay, I've got almost 5,000 people. If it gets to 5,000 and you can't get in, send me a direct message. I'll go and wipe somebody out to make room for you. Okay, now here's why. I'm going to go on Facebook Live probably every single day. Okay, with just information for business owners. Okay, I'm going to lead a mastermind group I belong to LaTip. Okay, and there's LaTip groups in Stockton. There's LaTip groups in Lodi. Okay, I'm going to be speaking to a lot of these LaTip groups. But what our group decided to do is we're going to lead a mastermind call that's open to the public on Tuesdays. We already have our normal Thursday meeting. Okay. But if you join your local LaTip chapter, okay, join your local BNI chapter. if you need information about that type of stuff, hit up the Lodi Chamber. They got a tremendous amount of resources to connect you with the right people. And so what we're going to do is we're going to lead a mastermind call on that. Anybody on that call will be able to ask whatever questions they have, just like on Friday here. Okay. So I'm putting all these events at johnpyron.com/events. All the events I'm personally attending, all the events that I'm leading or being a part of or a guest of, they're going to be on there, and you're going to have access to them for free. So everyone that I'm leading, I'm going to answer questions. So show up there, ask your questions as a business owner. I want to help you, okay? And you're going to get through this. Okay, here's the good news. You're going to get through this. We're all going to get through this. Okay? The question is what kind of business do you want to have at the end? What kind of skill set do you want to have at the end? It's up to you. It's your attitude right now that's going to change everything. Shut the negativity off. If you got relatives, friends, and all they're doing is feeding you COVID stuff and how bad it is, and oh my God, we got 1 million deaths and we got this, man, say, hey, stop. I don't want to hear about that. Okay? I don't want to hear about that, right? Because it's like I said on my talk the other day, it's like prior to this even happening, if you go to Google and say how many people are alive, they have a ticker, and then they show you here's the world population, and it's keeping a counter of how many people are on planet Earth. On the same counter, how many people died, right, worldwide. And on average, when I looked at that every time I would speak, I would notice there would be about 150 to 200,000 people a day dying, right? Well, are we shutting down the economy for it? You know, is it causing you to just not do anything? No. Well, we got people dying now. Do you really need to know how many people? No, you don't. What you need to know is, okay, how can I help the people that are living right now? Think about that, right? How can you help the people that are living right now, the businesses out there, the customers out there? The money didn't disappear. The money's out there. It's just flowing to different channels. You need to find out what those channels are as a business owner or as an employee and put yourself in that channel to get that money. Okay? So now's the time to sharpen that skill. And you can do it. I'm telling you, man, you can do it. Okay? So I hope this has been helpful today. Let me see if there's any questions in here that I can answer before we go. John, right now, the best thing folks can do is to spend some money now studying, reading some of the books on these subjects. Should they need them, I suggest they order them ASAP. Yeah, or get yourself a Kindle, right? So the Kindle app can go on a cell phone. You don't have to have the device. Kindle app will go on your computer, cell phone, tablet. And you can do a monthly subscription. It's less than $10 a month, and you get unlimited books, right? Audible.com, owned by Amazon. You can get I think it's like I pay $14.99 a month, and I get a free book every month. Every month. Doesn't matter if the book costs $75, you get it for free, okay? But they also have an Audible subscription where you can basically rent the audiobook, okay? But, get the audiobook. The other thing is, for kids, here's the other thing. Rosetta Stone for the next 3 months is giving kids Rosetta Stone for free. So if you go there and you sign up for your kid, pick a language, man, that stuff's usually expensive, but your kid can get trained on a foreign language right now on one of the best training platforms in existence. Okay, so what I told parents yesterday on this call is like, hey, there are all kinds of there's stuff for 3-year-olds online, there's stuff for 13-year-olds. They all can get training right now. Okay. Let's see. Michael said, I would be glad to offer your members access to obtaining those books and materials directly as our business SIS shipping today. So Michael, put your link in here to how they can get a hold of you. Okay. In fact, before we go, if everybody can put their LinkedIn profile URL in here, that would be great, because part of this recording is this chat piece will go along with it. Okay. So let's see what else. Anybody else have any other questions? Thank you so much for your time this morning. You're welcome. My pleasure, for sure. Customers are actually relationships. Yeah. I think I nailed down that question about it being touchy. Here's the deal about being touchy, right? 1 second, Pat. Here's the deal about being touchy. If you honestly have that prospect or customer's best interest in mind, and you know you can help them, you're not going to be offensive, right? You're not going to be offensive if you honestly believe that you can help them and you know you can help them. It's when you don't know that you can help them, or if your solution is going to work, but you got to close them because you got to make money. Yeah, that's called manipulation, and they'll smell it a mile away. Okay, so Pat, do you have something that you wanted to share before we go?
Well, I just want to say thanks very much. It's been great, because I am a firm believer in you will become in the future the people you associate with and the books you read. That's why I asked you that book question. And I was in an organization that I had to read a book a month, and it changed my life.
Yeah.
And so I want to get back into that. And so this is a good motivator to do so. I'd also like to challenge everybody on the call to invite 10 people to this call next Friday, because your message is terrifically valuable, and more people need to hear it, especially right now. So Elise and I will talk about marketing this and making it easier to get to the call. I know I'm not necessarily a Facebook person, probably should be, but if I could just get a link and Zoom straight in, I think we might be able to boost the numbers. Great hour. Thank you.
You are welcome. And one of the things I think I don't know if we were part of the same organization or not, but I joined the Amway business back in, I'm not a part of it anymore, but back in 1990, I was 20 years old, and tremendous training. And we had to read a book a month. We had to listen to a tape a day. We had to, the things that they talked about were 5 years from now, where you will be a result of the books you read, the audio or video that you listen to or watch, and the people you associate with.
Right.
The sum total of the top 5 people that you hang out with. So watch your association right now. If your association's negative, get a new association. It's never been easier with this stuff. Now here's one resource I really want to share with you guys. I'm going to put it in the chat window. Gary Vaynerchuk is literally the top social media expert on the planet. And nobody gets more attention than this guy, okay? And so what I put in there is a link. He turned 44 in December last year, and he put out this 270-page slide deck. I mean, everything that he does to dominate social media, he put it in this 270-page slide deck, okay? And if you're at home right now, you got time. But if you want to master social media, okay, and if you want to use social media to grow your business and not get used by social media, follow this slide deck. I'm following it. I have my assistant following it. I have every single client on it. You want to blow up your social networks? This is the way. Just go follow exactly what he says in that workbook, step by step, and you will blow up your social media. I know, because my stuff is like exploded over the last year, and I didn't even have these strategies. Ever since we plugged these strategies in, it was huge. So, but that's something he just gave away for free. Wanted to share it with you guys before we go. And so, great meeting. Go out and make it happen. And we will see you next week. Don't forget, go to johnpyron.com. And from there, you'll be able to access all the events we'll share on there. Connect with each other on LinkedIn. Figure out ways to band together and support one another. So go out and make it happen. We'll talk to you later. Take care.